Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Zoom Kabbalat Shabbat. It's getting later, so it's good for us. First of all, we're going to welcome Leigh, who will give us a Devar Torah. So over to you, Leigh.
Good Shabbos, everybody. I don't really need to tell you that this week is going to have Purim. Monday night, Tuesday is Purim. And one of the things about Purim is that everything to do with Purim, we have to do on the day. We have to hear the Megillah on the day. We have to have the Suda on the day. We have the money that we give to charity has to be not just given on the day, it has to be distributed on the day. Despite all these things, Purim, amongst all the celebratory chagim and things that we have in our calendar, is the one that breaks all the rules, almost on everything. Let's start at the first thing. If you look at Mishnah Megillah, it opens, the first Mishnah tells you that you can read the Megillah on the 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th of the month. You've got 5 days to read it. So how come we have to do it the way we do it now? And it all starts way back when Israel was an agricultural country. And so people lived out in the sticks, in little villages and out in the wilds. And so they would have to come together to hear Megillah. So instead of it all being on one day, the rabbis allowed them to start on the 11th of the month. They could get together to hear it on the 11th, fine. They didn't. They had the next day to get to somewhere, a bigger village, a bigger town. And that's how it works. And the 14th and the 15th were for the cities, where the 15th, which is the day after, which presumably is Shushan Purim, was the days when it had to be a walled city, but the city had to be walled at the time of Joshua. So you've got 5 days to read the Megillah, not just on the day. When it comes to all the other things, surprisingly, despite the celebrations, we do not recite Hallel. We do for Hanukkah, we do for the Chagim, but not on Purim. Why? Well, the rabbis say, well, as the whole event happened outside Israel, we do not say Hallel, which is quite surprising, but there we are. There are other things which are affected by it. Sadly, when somebody is sitting Shiva, they're not supposed to leave the house. But if somebody is sitting Shiva in a week where Purim falls, on the day of Purim, on the night of Purim, they have to leave the house to go to shul to hear the Megillah. It is the only time that you are, as somebody sitting Shiva, allowed to leave the house. The Gemara tells us that yeshiva bochers, even in those days, were supposed to spend all their time studying. And there were only 2 exceptions. One was to accompany the bride to a chuppah, and the other one was to go hear Megillah. That you could make that was the only other exception. Megillah became something extremely important. When it comes to giving donations, we have 2 different sets of donations which we're supposed to give. One is machatzis hashekel, half a shekel, and that money must not just be given on that day, but must be distributed that day. But unusually, we have another donation to give, which is called matanos le'evyonim, gifts for the poor. We're supposed to provide finance or food or whatever for the poor who can't afford these things. It's the only time that we have that as an exception, where it must be done on the day, it must be distributed for the day. I know at a previous shul in a galaxy not too far away, we used to have these collections, and the money was actually sent in on about lunchtime, and the money was distributed by food to the needy in usually northeast London and East London, and they were given food, things like potatoes, butter, milk, sugar, nothing extravagant, basic necessities, gifts for the poor. When it comes to laning on Purim Day, the rules for laning are that you never, ever lane less than 10 verses, except Purim. Purim, we only lane 9 verses. 3 for the first call up for the Cohen, 3 for the second call up for the Levi, and 3 for the Yisrael. Why is it only 9? Because the subject matter is only 9 verses long. If the verse was this, you can't start a verse earlier because it has nothing to do with Amalek, and you can't go on an extra verse because that also is nothing to do with Amalek. So the exception is Purim by a mile because of this. The one last thing is that we're always told that when we're in shul, we should behave properly. Anything to do with religious things, we should behave properly. And yet we're told, as the rabbis quite clearly say, that we should actually get drunk on Purim, so drunk that we can't tell the difference between Mordechai and the evil Haman. It really is bizarre. And thus, rather than wearing our best clothes, we can wear fancy clothes, fancy dress, we can make a lot of noise, blow whistles, rotate Gregors and all those kind of things, behave really badly, which makes Purim stand out from every other thing that we do in shul or to do with Judaism. So no matter how you behave, no matter how you dress, no matter what you do, please give to the charities and for the money to help the poor, but also enjoy yourselves. And may this simcha, this Purim Sameach be a really joyous occasion, not just for us, but all the families, for the whole of Bnei Yisrael. Have a good one. Shabbat Shalom and Purim Sameach.
It's very nice. That was very entertaining. Thank you so much. That was lovely. Okay, now